Morning everybody, welcome back. Jiu-Jitsu 2000 here today. I'm back and I have an interesting video for you. Today I'm going to talk about a new flashlight from ThruNite. I hope you stay with me. This is going to be a fun video. This is a really cool flashlight. I already played with it a little bit and I like a lot of the features on this flashlight, and I'm going to share this with you today. So here is a look at the packaging. This is the Neutron 2C. It's a pretty cool flashlight. It runs on a single 18650 battery. Cool white. That's what the packaging looks like. So if you have trouble saying the name of the company, ThruNite, just remember they're guiding you through the night. So ThruNite. I always had trouble saying the name of the company. So we open the package. These flashlights are always packaged very well. So the first thing that you see is obviously the flashlight. We're going to set that in the back for a second, and we're going to look through and see what else is included. So here is our owner's manual. We'll be referring to that here in a little bit. Now here is the ThruNite card. It is in Chinese or Japanese or something. Korean maybe, I don't know. German. So there's German. I think that's German right there. So that's the little pamphlet that comes in there. We have a little package of silica gel. That's to keep things dry. Now here we go. What do we have in here? There's this little pouch full of goodies. So it looks like we have what appears to be, okay, there's nothing else in the bag. So we have a lanyard. We have 2 O-rings. We have a little piece of silicone, like a little seal. And then we have 2 charge port covers. These are made out of rubber, so they're real flexible. They're made out of rubber. Now looking in, what else do we have? We have a micro USB charging cable. So you can plug this into your computer, you can plug it into your phone, little adapter that plugs into the wall, charge your flashlight that way. And last but not least, we have a small nylon velcroed enclosure. It's got a little bit of stretchy type material. Nice little ThruNite label on it. Nice little holster for it. They package these things very well. They put them in these little plastic bags. And there's a first look at our ThruNite Neutron 2C flashlight. There's the head, the body of the flashlight. It does not have a tail cap switch. It's got a nice little clasp right there to hold it onto your belt, and underneath here is the charging port. That's where that micro USB plugs in. And remember, they gave us 2 extra of these. That's in case these get lost or broken or brittle over time or anything like that. So that's kind of cool. It plugs that hole, makes this thing waterproof. No problem at all. When you first get this flashlight, you'll notice that if you unscrew the body of the flashlight, which is around the battery, and it does come with a 18650 battery. I'll set that aside for a minute. We'll look at that in a second. But you'll notice in here there's a white piece of plastic. Okay, don't forget to take that out, because that piece of plastic stops contact so that the thing doesn't accidentally get turned on and drain the battery during shipping and things like that. So that's that little piece of plastic. And there's a closer look at the head. The inside of the head. This is glass. Let's take a look at the body. Look down inside. Now there's something neat about this body. It breaks down even smaller. Okay, so if you wanted to, you could discard that piece, or not discard it, but you could set it aside, put a smaller battery in here, thread this guy together, and have a nice small little EDC flashlight. This thing would fit in your pocket real easy. Okay, so that's another option. Now the type of battery that operation would take, I forget what they call that kind of battery. It uses a single 18650 battery, which is this guy right here, or you can use two CR123A batteries. It also says 18350 battery. You could use one of those, 18340 battery, or two 16340 batteries. So those are all the batteries that you can use to operate this flashlight. Now this flashlight has a what they call a Cree XP-LV6 LED, and the output on this flashlight, it has several features. It has strobe, which is 650 lumens, and it'll last approximately 5 hours on the strobe. It has Firefly at half a lumen, and this is the feature that I really like, 49 days. And Firefly on this flashlight actually puts out a pretty good amount of light. And then you've got infinity low and infinity high, and I'll talk about that a little bit more here in the video. But on the low setting you have 12 lumens, 130 hours, or on high 650 lumens for 2.7 hours, or you can go all the way up to turbo and get the full 1100 lumen rating at 2.2 hours. Now the distance of view of this light is approximately 240 meters. The intensity is 14,399 CD. Impact resistance up to 1 meter. Still working. And waterproof. IPX-8, 2 meters waterproof. Let's go for a swim. Oh yeah. No problem at all. Yep, I'd say that's waterproof. Now it says, note, the above parameters tested on ThruNite with one single 18650 3400 milliamp hour battery are approximate, and they may vary between lights, batteries, and environment. They do include a very nice 18650 battery. This is a lithium-ion battery, 3.6 volt battery, 3400 milliamp hours. Looks like a AA battery on steroids. That's the best way I can describe it. High discharge performance lithium-ion rechargeable battery, guiding you through the night. So that's pretty cool. The price point for this flashlight from ThruNite is $59. So you notice when you put these pieces together, you have an O-ring there. So when these two pieces meet each other, they're sealed with an O-ring. So that's where you get that watertight integrity. Okay, there's nothing open on this back side. There is a little lanyard hole there. So you can see there's another O-ring there. And they did, like I showed earlier, they did include 2 spare O-rings with this flashlight. Okay, so now you're looking down in there and you can see the spring. Now if I take a smaller flashlight, like a little T01, I can look inside there. Hopefully you can see what's going on inside there. That's where the battery goes. So we're going to set the flat end of the battery down onto that spring so that we have the positive notch on the top. We're going to insert the battery, and again we have a seal created by this O-ring, so that's how we're going to get our water tightness. And again, that's down to 2 meters, so that's pretty good. When the light is on, long press the switch to cycle through infinity high and infinity low. Double click from any mode to turbo. Another double click will get you strobe. Memory function. The light will turn on in the last mode accessed except for Firefly, turbo, and strobe. So now to turn the flashlight on, you have a couple of options. You push the button down and the flashlight turns on. And what it'll do is it'll turn on to the last setting that you had. And it also gives you a blue indicator telling you the status of your battery. I'll talk about that more here in a little bit. So if you push the button and you hold it down, you will scroll through. It'll go up in intensity and it'll flash when it gets to the highest point. And if you let off the button, you're going to be at that setting. So if you were to turn the flashlight off and then turn it back on, you're going to be at that setting. Now if you hold the button down and you go down to whatever you want, say let's go down to low, so we're down to, it'll flash, we're down to 12 lumens, 130 hours. When we turn the flashlight off by pushing the button, we come back on, we're going to be on low. Now to access Firefly, which this is my favorite feature about this flashlight, half of a lumen for 49 days. So what you got to do is you got to turn the flashlight off, and then instead of just depressing the button to turn it on, you hold the button down. That accesses Firefly. See? There's a difference. If I turn it on, that's low. See the difference in brightness? If I hold it down, that's Firefly. Half of a lumen, 49 days. That's pretty crazy. That is a lot of runtime. 49 days at that setting. And that, believe me folks, that's a lot of light. You don't get the battery indicator when you're on Firefly. It's just it's saving battery life. If you actually turn it on though, you see we're on low now. You see the battery indicator. Now that battery indicator is kind of cool when you plug this in to charge it. When you plug this in to charge it, this light will illuminate red, and then when the battery is completely charged, this light will change from red to blue. Blue means your battery's good. So let's go all the way up to turbo. Okay, so I double clicked it. Now we're in turbo, we're in the highest setting. If I turn it off, turn it back on, it looks like it's back on low. Let's go up to high though. Okay, we're on high. 2 touches and it's turbo. If I turn it off, we're just going to go back to high. But again, I like leaving it on low. Just my personal preference. I don't like blinding people. And I can't stress it enough, I really enjoy the Firefly feature on this flashlight. 49 days. Just hold that button down. 49 days. That's amazing. I'm really impressed with that. Here's what it looks like plugged into the micro USB. As you can see, it has a red LED indicator showing that it's charging. This is what the indicator looks like after the flashlight has been fully charged. You can see that it's blue. And if it ever flashes purple, it says you have an error. So feel free to pause the video if you want to read any of this stuff. And it says here, only low mode is available while charging. During charging, indicator is red. After being fully charged, the indicator will go blue. When indicator flashes purple, it means abnormal charging. You can see very clearly that even on Firefly, you can see very easily what we're looking at. Okay, again, this is 49 days of runtime on this setting. The next setting that we're going to look at is infinity low. And let me get to that for you. This here is infinity low. This is 12 lumens. And on this setting, the flashlight will last for approximately 130 hours. Okay. Now we can bump that up to high by holding this up until we see it flash. This is infinity high. This is a full 650 lumens, and this runtime is approximately 2.7 hours. So as you can see, quite a bit of light. Now it's kind of different seeing the difference between high, which is here. Again, high is 650 lumens and approximately 2.7 hours. So there's high. Again, just get a view of that. And then let's go to turbo. This is the 1100 lumen. This is the one that really takes time for the camera to adjust. 1100 lumens, 2.2 hours. Now if I double click this again, we should get the strobe feature, which is 650 lumens, and this strobe feature will last for approximately 5 hours. Okay, now the distance that you can see with this flashlight on turbo is approximately 240 meters of distance. Now there are some updates that I want to talk about. The difference between this Neutron 2C V3, this new model for 2017, the one I'm holding in my hand right here. And that is, one thing is that this flashlight has infinity dimming. Okay, so again, we're going to hold this button down, and you can see that the thing goes down from any setting that we would want. It'll flash at the bottom setting, and then if we hold it down again, it'll come all the way up and it'll flash at high. Okay, so that's one of the features that this one has that the other Neutron 2C did not have. Another feature that this one has is that it is a rechargeable flashlight. Okay, again, it has this port that you can see right here. It's kind of dark right here, obviously, but you see this port that I pulled the rubber off of. That creates an ability to recharge this flashlight. Another thing that's pretty neat is this little blue LED indicator. This is a battery capacity indicator, and it has 4 different things that you'll see. Right now you can see that it's blue, and that means that the voltage of the battery is above 3.2 volts. Now if the battery drops between 3 to 3.2 volts in that range, then it will flash red. It'll be flashing red. And then if it goes full red, that means we're between 2.8 volts and 3 volts. Now if we drop below 2.8 volts or lower, this indicator light will go off. So that's going to be kind of crazy. Again, we're on Firefly now. This is Firefly. It's a beautiful flashlight. Turbo. High. Low. Again, this is the infinity settings. Infinity low all the way to infinity high. Double click the button here, 1, 2, to turbo. Turn the light off. If you were in turbo and you turn the light back on, you're not going to go back to turbo, you're going to go actually to high. To get turbo again, it's that double click. There's turbo. Double click again, strobe. They didn't have strobe in the last one. Beautiful flashlight. And all those new settings. Is this flashlight, unlike the previous model, it does come standard with an 18650 battery. It comes with the battery, whereas I believe the last generation did not. And this one, obviously you saw it a second ago, it has strobe, and I don't believe the last one had strobe either. The Neutron 2C did not have strobe. The 2C V3, which is this one here, this has strobe. It's just a beautiful flashlight. I talked about a lot of the positives about this. It's impact resistance, it's waterproof. The only concern that I have is this right here. Because for me, one of the reasons why I purchased ThruNite flashlights is because I like the waterproof feature of these flashlights. So if I'm in my boat and I'm going to jump out of my boat, I'm going to go directly in the water with this flashlight, I want to know that this flashlight's going to hold up to being in the water. Maybe I'm snorkeling, or maybe I'm wanting to go underwater. Now what my fear is that if I rub onto something, if I scrape something as I'm getting in the water, I'm afraid that this would expose that port, and we all know how water is, it's going to get in there. So that's personally my only concern about this flashlight. I do like how they incorporated everything into this single switch. One little switch that does it all. I like that. But what I don't like is this. I just, personally, my personal preference, I don't get into that. Because I'm afraid that that is too easy to fail. I'm just afraid that that will fail. Get water in there and then I'm toast. I don't know. So if there's anybody from ThruNite watching this review, please let me know if that's a factor. You know, if water gets in there, I mean, certainly there's electronic components in there that could be damaged, in my opinion. So let me know, please. I think it's going to be a small issue. But if you're going to be the kind of person that's going to be walking around and it's raining outside, or, you know, I don't think you're going to have any problems at all. It does fit in there nice and tight. I'm just talking about going underwater. I think we could have some problems. It's a very, very nice flashlight. I like it a lot. So I want to say thank you to ThruNite for sending it to me. I'm really happy about it. I just wish that this was more solid. I wish that they could, you know, like the Model TN12, or if you look at the A-Tactical Model A1 or A1S, the battery had a micro USB port on the battery itself, and I really liked that. It had two little LEDs that lit up, green or red. I liked that better, because if they could do something like that with the battery, they could eliminate this, and then in my opinion that would be like the perfect flashlight for me, because I could jump out of my boat without the fear of this getting caught up on something and getting opened, and now my flashlight's full of water. So I think it's still a beautiful flashlight. Let's take a look at this little holster and let's see how the flashlight fits in that holster. So you got the flashlight all the way down in the holster, and we fit pretty nice. No problem at all. Now if we make it the shorter orientation, say we were using one of those other batteries, we had it in its little EDC form, smallest size. How's that going to fit? Put that in there. Look, it goes all the way to the bottom. There's nothing for this Velcro to grab down here. See? So you'd have to be having this with all this slop in the top. They should have put more adhesive down here so that you could fold this over for the small side and attach it right there. I wish they would have done that. That would have been cool, because then we could have had a nice little pouch for that for its small orientation. Just my personal opinion. I'm just not trying to beat the flashlight up. I'm just trying to let you guys know what I see and what my thoughts are, and I'm keeping it real. Another factor that could be a possibility of a defect would be the fact that this is a two-piece housing, and even though it's protected by an O-ring, I still think that adds risk to the flashlight in the fact that it's one more joint, one more sill, one more thing that could possibly leak. But I really don't see that happening. They did a great job making that connection, so I think it would actually probably hold up just fine. I'm in the process of putting all this stuff away, and it brought me back to this silicone piece here. So if you guys were curious as to what does this piece do, don't quote me, but I believe that piece goes inside of this switch here. I think that's what that does, and I think that's what gives this the waterproofness. So they give you another one. I think that's cool. So I think that's what that does. Goes inside the switch. There's a couple more features. If you push this button twice, you notice how it takes you straight to turbo. I can feel heat on my hand. I know this there's good lighting in this room right now, and this light that you're looking at doesn't really justify this flashlight. It's very, very bright. Now if you push that again twice, you'll go into a strobe feature. So you have strobe, Firefly, low, all the way up to high, and turbo. So you have 5 operations. Pretty cool. I like the Firefly myself. So again, to access that, we just hold the button down, goes right to Firefly. And if you don't know if you're on low or Firefly, just look for that indicator. Indicator's off, we're definitely on Firefly. Turn it off, push it once, we're on low. Indicator's on. Just hold it down and it cycles through, and like you saw, it'll flash when it gets to the top, and then it'll come back down. It'll flash when it gets to the bottom. It's letting you know that it's at the bottom of the infinity, and it's at the top of the infinity. So you can choose any setting within that spectrum. So let's go down about halfway or so. Let's say that's what we want. We let off the button, turn it off, and when we turn it back on, that's exactly where we're at. This flashlight has a memory, and I like that. Personally, I like leaving it on low. That strobe is crazy. So if you had to disorient somebody that was attacking you, that's definitely going to get their attention. Now my apologies for shining it directly at the camera, but I just want you to see the intensity of that strobe. It's pretty crazy. Well folks, I want to say thank you for joining me today on this review. I know this video might have seemed a little bit long-winded. I didn't try to make it that way. To be completely honest with you guys, I did a ton of video editing, so this video is about as short as I can get it with giving you the type of information that I want to give in this video. Now, I know that I said about the waterproofness on this light, but all in all, in the end, I think this is an excellent bang for the buck. Very good flashlight. I want to say thank you to ThruNite for sending this out to me and giving me the opportunity to do this review. I really enjoyed it. This is a great flashlight. I think it's going to suit the needs of a lot of people across the board. I still personally, my personal opinion, I still wish that this would not have that rubber portion covering the charge port. But that's just me. I might be a little bit extreme in how I look at products. So don't take that too heavy, folks. You know, this is, at the end of the day, an amazing flashlight and a lot of bang for the buck. So thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Bye-bye.